Hello, welcome to Hatha Yoga. My name is Michelle Chua. For today's practice, you may want to have 2 yoga blocks, a strap, and a blanket. A firm blanket or beach towel that you can fold up sort of like this here. And let's begin in a comfortable seat that you choose. You may even like to sit up on your folded blanket. Here is a quote from Albert Einstein. A human being is a part of the whole called by us the universe, a part limited in time and space. He experiences himself, his thoughts and feelings, as something separate from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of consciousness. This delusion is a kind of prison for us, restricting us to our personal desires and affection for a few persons nearest to us. Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison by widening the circle of understanding and compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature in its beauty. If the literal definition of yoga is union, how do you practice union or yoga beyond the physical body, beyond your own individual mind, body, and spirit? This is in essence the nature of enlivening or activating your crown chakra, Sahasrara chakra, that energy center located in the region of the crown of the head, which is much about our ability to integrate this deep knowing that we are all connected, that we are all part of the same. Interconnectedness, unity consciousness. We'll physically practice postures that will activate the region of the crown, like inversions in many ways. And we'll sit in meditation, which is one of the most important ways to activate energy of your crown center. So let's begin. Feel what you're sitting on. Root down towards Mother Earth through the left and right sides of your pelvis. Lengthen up through the center of your spine. Let the shoulders roll back and down, lifting your sternum at your heart center and lifting through the back of your neck, back of your skull, and through the center of your crown. And then let your hands just rest in your lap or place a hand on your chest, a hand on your lower belly, maybe closing the eyes as you let your body be still. Opening up your senses to what's here in the present moment. Begin to feel what's around you in your environment that you're practicing yoga in. Whatever sounds or vibrations, the air that you sense. Bring your attention to your physical body and begin to sense what sensations are moving through. What are you feeling at the crown of your head right now? Is there anything to notice there, or the back of the head, or around the ears, or your face? And continue the scanning of your body in your mind's eye down throughout the rest of your body, sensing its aliveness. Gradually making your attention down to the soles of your feet. Now bring your awareness to the breath, where you can sense your body receiving and releasing the breath. Feel into the way that it's doing that, the qualities of the breath. And through this observation, notice how you feel energetically right here and now. Tune into how you're feeling in your mind, in your heart, noticing your mental and emotional state. So by bringing our awareness through these different layers of self, from the outermost physical to the more subtle, like the mind, we begin to establish union through awareness. Now, I invite you to pinpoint one thing that you'd like to focus on in your practice and bring into your experience as you step out of this practice as well. Maybe it's a feeling of calm or groundedness. Maybe it's a feeling of courage within uncertainty, or openness to connect. Clarifying your intention or sankalpa for your practice, let in a deeper breath through the nose. And release it through the mouth. Continue to take a few more deep breaths like this, in through the nose and out through the mouth, as you might choose someone or something that you care about to dedicate today's practice to, making an offering. Here's a one way to expand our circle of compassion. And together, let's join our voices, chanting the sound of Om 3 times. Inhale deeply. To bring us into our asana or physical yoga practice, let's start to practice Ujjayi Pranayama, which means victorious breathing. By sealing the lips, steadying the breath slowly and evenly in and out through the nose, while creating a gentle whispering sound by softly constricting or narrowing the back of your throat. As you listen to this sound, let it help to track the quality of your breathing and to steady your attention in the present moment. As you keep that sound rhythm going, please enter tabletop pose. Let's come down onto hands and knees, setting your wrists on the floor right under your shoulders, spreading the fingers flat, and stepping your knees a couple inches behind your hips. Beginning to move the spine in cat-cow. As you inhale, glide your chest through your upper arms, coiling it up, look up, drop the shoulders back. As you exhale, press down through the palms, contract your belly and slowly dome your back, dropping the head, tucking the tailbone under. Continue another 4 or 5 cycles on your own pace of breath, inhaling as you coil your chest up, exhaling as you contract your belly to round. A few more times, synchronizing your movement to mindful breath. Now, when you finish this next cycle, exhale to a neutral spine and set your 2 blocks in front of you at their medium height, the second level. crossing your mat like a train. And we'll give our triceps and latissimus dorsi, muscles around the shoulders and shoulder blades, a stretch. So step back onto your shins or knees for a moment and extend your arms forward, palms face down. Then rotate the outer sides of your upper arms, which are your triceps, towards the ground. And allow your shoulder blades to spread apart across the upper back wider. At the same time, press the shoulder blades down and lengthen your neck. Hug in your front ribs. Now, keeping your triceps rotating down, place your bent elbows on the blocks, exactly your shoulders width apart, no wider. Then step your knees back. So again, they're a couple inches behind the hips. Press your fingertips of the opposite hands into each other, like you're holding a sphere between the palms. Breath by breath, trace your thumbs down the back of your skull, down the back of your neck, as far back towards the shoulder blades as it's available. Letting your head fall towards the earth, sinking your chest, gliding your shoulders further back away from the neck, and at the same time, lifting the front ribs so you're sealing them towards the back of your body, not allowing the belly to just dump towards the ground. Now let's stay here another 4 slow breaths. Listen to that rhythm again of your Ujjayi pranayama. Keep rolling the triceps towards the earth, spreading the shoulder blades apart, lengthening the neck as you send the shoulder heads back, and slightly firming in the belly, pressing the hips back. Listen to one more cycle of breath here. After arriving at empty, contract your belly and slowly lift your head, your torso. Place the blocks aside on both sides of the front edge of your mat, and then set your hands flat again, spreading the fingers so that the creases or these lines on your wrists parallel the front edge of your mat. Tucking your toes, lift your hips high and back, arriving in downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Allow a few breaths here if you need to move. You might pedal your feet slowly in place to loosen the backs of your legs, or swivel the hips left and right, softly move the skull, whatever you might need. If you're not quite ready to be still just yet, a few more breaths. And as you're in downward dog, continue that same action as rotating the triceps towards the ground to spread the shoulder blades apart. Lengthening the neck, lifting the shoulder blades back, and firming in the belly as you press your sitting bones back. Sinking your heels deeper and deeper towards the ground, even if they don't touch it. Know that you can bend your knees if that allows you to free up more space in your spine. Now let's be still. One more cycle of breath. Listen in. When you finish the bottom of that exhale, walk up to the top of your mat, entering a standing forward fold. Separate your feet at least hips width apart and parallel. Bend your knees, drop the skull, then reach the hands behind your lower back to clasp or hold a strap between the hands if that makes it easier to lift the arms away from the lower spine. So that we can open up the fronts of the shoulders. You might like to sway your spine gently, straightening one leg and the other. You might like to shake and nod the head a few times to help loosen your neck. So soften the back of the neck, soften your jaw. And as you're stretching the arms forward, bend the elbows slightly and lift your shoulders up. Couple more breaths in this variation of Uttanasana, standing forward fold. Now lower your hands either onto the floor in front of your feet or on some blocks. Press into the ground or blocks. As you engage the belly, inhale, lengthen the crown of your head forward into a flat back where you slide the shoulders away from your neck and feel the belly engage. Lengthen the sides of your torso. As you exhale, hinge and drop your head back to the forward fold. Let's do that once more to the breath. Press firmly with your fingertips. As you inhale, lengthen your chest and crown forward, peeling the shoulders back. This is called Ardha Uttanasana, which means half forward fold. Exhale, fold. This time, press to your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms forward. Rise all the way up to stand, reaching the arms overhead. Rotate your triceps forward, just like we did when we placed the elbows on the blocks here. And plug the shoulders down. Bring your attention to your tailbone and lengthen it towards the ground right between your heels, causing the lower belly to slightly firm in. Keep lifting your back ribs away from the tailbone. Lift your chest. And as you take another inhale, roll the fronts of your shoulders, if you can, behind the ears and tilt your chest. Up, look up. Exhale, join your palms in prayer, down to the center of your heart. Full cycle of breath. Remember your intention that you set for this practice. And let's warm up in Sun Salutation C, Surya Namaskar C. Inhale, sweep your arms forward again, roll the shoulders back, stretch the tailbone towards the inner heels and a little back bend. This time, hinge from your hips, exhale, place the fingertips on blocks or the floor outside your feet. Inhale, step the left knee behind you, looking up in your kneeling lunge. Hold your breath and step into plank pose, legs straight or knees on the ground. Exhale, lower your knees, then your chest and chin as you hug the elbows towards the ribs in Ashtangasana. Inhale, slide your belly and legs to the floor and coil your chest up to Cobra, Bhujangasana. Exhale, tuck your toes, pressing up, lift the pelvis back into Downward Dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, step the left foot beside your left thumb and lower your back knee, looking up, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, step the right foot forward and bow. Press to the feet, inhale, sweep the arms forward, rise all the way up into that gentle standing back bend version of Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, join your hands at your heart in mountain pose, Padasana. One more time, second side, inhale, arms overhead, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, bow forward, Uttanasana. Plant your fingertips. Inhale, right knee steps back, look up, Anjaneyasana. Hold your breath, step into plank pose. Exhale, lower knees, chest and chin, Ashtangasana. Inhale, slither to the ground and drop the shoulders back, Bhujangasana. Exhale, tuck your toes, lift the hips, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, step right foot beside right thumb, lower back knee, Anjaneyasana, look up. Exhale, step left foot forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, arms forward, rise up, little back bend in Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Padasana, hands at the heart. Moving on as we warm up, Surya Namaskar A. Circle your arms apart, breathing in, join your palms. Exhale, forward fold. Press the blocks to the ground ahead. Inhale, lengthen forward, Ardha Uttanasana. This time, step back to plank pose, and as you exhale, keep the belly engaged and glide forward. Hug the elbows towards your ribs to Chaturanga Dandasana. Enter Cobra or flip the toes here into Upward Facing Dog. Exhale into Downward Facing Dog and be still for 3 breaths. Land your gaze, your drishti on one spot. Reconnect your mind, your body, your breathing in this practice of union, yoga. After the third exhale, walk or float your feet to the top of the mat. Then press with your hands. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, circle the arms. Urdhva Hastasana to the top. Exhale as though blessing yourself. Trace your hands in prayer down the center line of your body. Once more, inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Step into plank and lower slowly or lightly jump into Chaturanga Dandasana. Breathe into Cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale to downward facing dog and pause. Be still for 3 breaths. Steady your gaze. When you finish the end of the 3rd breath, then walk or float to the top. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, tracing the thumbs to the heart, Padasana. Then arms by your sides, Tadasana. Continue to breathe slowly and gently audibly, and we'll enter our last variation of sun salutations as we continue to warm up. Sun salutation B. So let the big toes touch and let your knees touch. We'll continue with breath-led movement here. As you inhale, bend your knees together, raise the arms forward, chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, bow from your hips, Uttanasana. Inhale again, Ardha Uttanasana, lengthen forward. Step or float back and take it through your vinyasa. Long, even breaths. When you arrive at downward dog, inhale, raise your right leg back. Exhale, step the foot beside your right thumb, spin the back heel down and face forward. Then inhale, rise up into Warrior One. Exhale, lower, and continue on with your vinyasa. When you arrive at downward dog, inhale, raise your left leg back. Exhale the foot forward beside your left thumb and drop the back heel. Inhale, rise up to Warrior One. Exhale, lower into your vinyasa. Pause in downward dog for 3 deep breaths. If you need a moment to rest, you can place your knees on the floor and enter child's pose. But listen to the quality of your breathing. Slow it down, regulate your mind and your body through your breathing. When you're ready, finishing the 3rd exhale, walk or float to the front of your mat. Feet together, inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold. Grab a strap while you're here, then bend your knees, inhale to chair pose. Then exhale to rise up. So with strap in hand, step your feet apart, hips distance, parallel, and let's raise the left arm, hold the strap with the left hand, and dangle the tail of the strap behind your back. Now with the help of your right hand, Spin that left outer upper arm forward again. So you're helping to roll the tricep forward. Bring the elbow behind your head. We're setting up the arms in cow face pose. So slide the shoulders down. Reach the right hand under behind you. Grab the other end of the strap. And then walk your hands as close together as you can. You might drop the strap if you're able to clasp your hands. Seal in your front ribs. And with your feet hips width apart, bend your knees and let's re-enter chair pose like this with arms in Gomukhasana. Chair pose, glide your weight towards your shins, elongate your lower back. Notice if it wants to overarch here. Steady your breathing, steady your eyes on one spot on the floor, and shift your weight onto your right foot, but try to keep your two frontal hip bones evenly facing forward. So think of firming your outer hips towards the midline of your body. And slowly step the ball of your left foot all the way back into a high lunge, crescent pose, keeping your arms in Gomukhasana. Make sure that your feet are still hips width apart when you arrive in your lunge. Bend the back knee, draw the tailbone downward, lift your frontal hip bones, and then bend the front knee right on top of the heel, scissoring the right hip back and turning the left outer hip to face forward. Now, if it's available for you, you might straighten the left leg, but make sure the pelvis does not start to spill forward if you do. Lift up through the center of your spine and crown. Let's stay another 2 or 3 breaths. Spinning your left heel down, align the right heel to intersect the arch of your left foot. Turning your chest to face the left wall, open your arms, and let's arrive in Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Steady your gaze just past the right hand. Feel into your body's breathing. As you're turning out your right leg to completely face the front of your mat, bend the front knee right on top of the heel, maybe towards a 90-degree angle. Wrap your right outer hip beneath you as you firm the top of your left thigh bone back towards you, firming down through the outside edge of your left foot. 3 more breaths. Then straighten your right leg and let's prepare for extended triangle pose, Utthita Trikonasana. Glide your hips sideways towards the back of your mat and reaching your right hand horizontally forward, place the right hand on the right side of your right shin, maybe on a block or on the ground. Now firm your right shin and right arm against each other, and as you're raising the left arm up, rotate the tricep to face the left wall. It's the same action we've been doing since we placed the elbows on the blocks. Now sweep the left arm overhead towards the front wall, just enough where your shoulders can still free up space away from the neck. Now hug in the front ribs and spin your chest slightly to face the sky. A few more breaths here. Steady your gaze. Pressing down through your feet, inhale, rise up to stand and shorten your stance about 5 inches less. Turn your hips to face the front of your mat, stepping the right foot off to the right again so your feet are hips width apart. Now let's prepare for pyramid pose. Bring your arms behind your back and either come into reverse prayer, which is palm to palm, fingertips pointing up, or hold on to opposite forearms, or press fist to fist against each other. See what's available here as we open up the fronts of the shoulders. Now spreading your toes, root down evenly through both feet. Make sure both of your hips are evenly facing forward, the legs are straight. Firm the front muscles of your thighs, your belly, and breathe in to roll your shoulders back, looking up. Hug in the belly and exhale, start to bow slowly from your hips, lengthening your spine as you inhale. keeping your hips balanced in height. Parsvottanasana, pyramid pose. One more breath here. As you press down to your feet, firm in the belly, and inhale, slowly lift the chest, come all the way up to stand. Release the arms free. Put a little bend in the right knee, and let's enter Warrior 3. Now you come into it with the hands together in prayer at the heart. You could have your blocks in front of you and place your fingertips on the blocks. Or other variations of the arms might be the arms back by your sides, arms reaching forward. Press back through the inner edge of your left heel and activate the muscles in your legs. Turn your left outer hip to face the ground and find balance in both hips. Lift the navel towards your spine and draw your sternum and crown forward, lengthening your neck. 3 more breaths. Virabhadrasana 3. Slowly bend your left knee in front of you. Rise to stand on your right foot. Still flexing the left foot, bend the left knee about the height of your left hip. Let's prepare for one more standing balancing pose, hand to big toe. Bring your right hand to your right hip. Either hold on to your left outer knee, and here's your posture, or take it a step further and bring the left arm inside of the left thigh and clasp your big toe with your index and middle fingers. From here, kick the left foot forward to straighten the leg to your degree while drawing the left shoulder back and down. Press through the 4 corners of your right foot and stand tall. Lift through your crown. You're in it. This is the pose or the variation we're doing. Another 3 breaths. Maybe raise the right arm up. Get taller and taller by pressing into the earth. Check in with your breathing. In Sanskrit, the name of this pose is Utthita Hasta Parangushtasana. One more breath. Exhale the left foot hips distance from the right and release your arms, mountain pose. With your awareness on your breath, please grab your strap to take cow face pose on the second side. Hold the strap in your right hand this time and raise your right arm. Dangle the strap behind your back. With your left hand, rotate your right tricep forward and bring the elbow behind your head. Slide both shoulders down and reach your left hand underneath behind you to catch the other end of the strap. Walk your hands as close together as you can. Maybe they clasp and you drop the strap. Maybe not. Seal in your front ribs and bend your knees. Come into chair pose with feet hips width apart. Check in with your breathing and steady your gaze on the floor ahead. Shift your weight onto your left foot, but keep your 2 hips facing forward as you slowly step the ball of your right foot all the way to the back of your mat, entering crescent lunge with arms in cow face pose. Make sure your feet are still hips width apart, and once you arrive, bend your right knee and direct your tailbone downward. Lift your frontal hip bones. Bend the left knee right on top of your heel and scissor your left outer hip back. Turn your right outer hip forward. If available, straighten the back leg and continue to lift up through your crown. 3 more breaths. Spin your right heel down, align left heel to arch of right foot. Open your arms, Warrior 2. Set your eyes just past the left hand. Virabhadrasana 2. Bend your left knee right on top of your heel. Spin your left sitting bone underneath. Firm the top of your right thigh bone back. and root down through the outside edge of your right foot. 3 more breaths. Sense the feeling of groundedness this posture may have to offer. Let's straighten your left leg. Sweep your hips towards the back of your mat and reach the left hand forward to the left side of your left shin. Extended triangle. Rotate your right tricep to face the right wall. Then sweep that arm overhead towards the front wall, sending your shoulders and hips towards the rear of your mat and your chest slightly to face the sky. Again, steady your gaze. Listen to your breathing. 3 more cycles. Utthita Trikonasana. Press down through both feet and inhale, rise up to stand. Shorten your stance about 5 feet, maybe 5 inches, maybe 6 inches. And then turn your hips to face the front of your mat. Separate your feet about hips width. Let's prepare for pyramid pose. Legs straight. Bring the arms behind you to open the chest, whether you're pressing fist to fist, holding the other forearm on top, or palm to palm with fingertips pointing up in reverse prayer. Seal in your front ribs. Inhale, tilt your chest up. Exhale, begin to bow forward, lengthening your spine with each in-breath. Hips squared towards the front. Parsvottanasana. Press through your feet. Inhale, lead with your chest. Slowly rise up. Put a little bend in your left knee and get ready for Warrior 3, either hands in prayer or reaching for blocks. Tilt your torso forward and flex your right foot off the ground. Turn your right outer hip to face the ground and feel that your legs are still hips width apart. They're not crisscrossing through your center line. Explore whatever variations of your arms. Another 3 breaths. Virabhadrasana 3. Now keep balancing on one leg. Slowly lift your torso. Bend your right knee in front of you. Rise to stand on your left leg. Place your left hand on your left hip and either hold your outer right knee with the right hand, or bring the right arm inside of the leg and clasp your big toe, kicking the right foot forward and drawing the right shoulder back and down. Hand to big toe pose. You might raise the left arm up. 4 more breaths. Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. Keep dropping the right hip to the level of the left hip. And as you press through the earth, with 4 corners of the left foot, lift up from the base of your spine to your crown. Feel the strength of your center line. Rooting and rising. 1 more deep breath. And step your right foot, this time to touch the left in mountain pose. Deep breath in. Let it go. Preparing for twisting chair. Excuse me. Bend your knees together. Join your hands at your heart. Keep your knees in one line. Inhale, lengthen the spine. At your waistline, begin to twist to the right. Inhale, lengthen, drop the tailbone. Lift the chest higher than your hips. And then continue to twist to the right. So draw the left hip back. Make sure if you look at your knees that they are evenly facing forward. Left knee is not in front of the right knee. You might open the arms. You might keep the hands together. 2 more breaths in Parita Utkatasana, revolved chair. Sink your hips a little lower. Inhale through center and chair. Exhale, rise up to mountain pose. Take a deep breath in through the nose and let it go. Side two, one more. Feet together, knees together. Sit back into chair and join your hands at your heart. Breathe in as you lengthen your spine, sinking the hips further back. Breathe out, turn your chest to the left, not turning the hips, but turning the rib cage. Explore the range of your twist with each breath. One more breath here. Sink your hips. Inhale through center and chair. Exhale, forward fold. Please step back onto your hands and knees. And let's prepare for a few more inversions, starting with dolphin pose. So like we did when we placed our arms on the blocks, sit back on your shins for a moment and extend your arms forward. Rotate both triceps down to spread the shoulder blades apart and drop the shoulders, lengthen the neck. Now you want to continue those two actions, triceps rotating downward, neck lengthening, as we hold dolphin pose for your count of 5 to 10 breaths. Then we'll meet in child's pose. So place your bent elbows on the floor, this time shoulders width apart. Decide to either plant your palms face down so the forearms are parallel to each other, or interlace your fingers and press your outer wrists and forearms firmly into the earth. Use your forearms to press down and rebound a lift of your shoulders back. Then tuck your toes, take in a breath, exhale, lift the hips, and you're in the pose, 5 to 10 breaths. Now, if it's available for your hamstrings, walk your feet closer to your elbows, shorten your stance. Maybe bring the feet together. Pressing your chest back towards your shins. Make sure that your shoulders do not round forward in front of the elbows. In fact, think of keeping the shoulders slightly behind your elbows. You might raise the leg straight up, keeping the hips squared, not turning out the lifted leg as you flex the foot, and then switch sides if you like. Again, when you're ready to rest, we'll meet in child's pose. Knees to the floor, sitting back on your heels, forehead to the ground. Arms forward or back. Taking a few deep breaths. We've got a couple more of these active inversions to play with. So when you're upside down for a while, be mindful not to lift the head too quickly afterwards so you don't get lightheaded. So plant your hands outside your knees and slowly breathe in to roll your spine upright to sit. And now I invite you to set up for a headstand prep in dolphin pose. Dolphin pose is already a preparatory pose for headstand, which is the traditional version of headstand, Salamba Shirshasana. But for now, if you feel any tightness in your hamstrings or lower back, grab a couple of blocks, maybe even a pillow if you have a firm pillow, and place it at the back of your mat to create a platform for your feet to step on. So the feet are higher. It gives you a little more ability to straighten the legs or to lift the hips in dolphin pose or in headstand. And then we'll start with the toes tucked on the blocks, knees really close to the blocks here, where you can plant the elbows on the ground again, but this time interlace the fingers for sure, so that you create a triangular base out of your forearms and elbows. Press down to your outer wrists and elbows. Rotate the triceps towards the back of the room like we've been practicing and lengthen your neck. Now, if you have any injury or issues in your neck, just let your head hang. Don't put your head on the ground. Otherwise, place the very crown of your head. Make sure it's the very top of your head, not close to the hairline or not close to the back of the skull. On the ground, so that the back of your skull is very lightly supported by your palms interlaced. Then press down to your forearms and elbows, take a deep breath in, and contract the belly, lift the hips like you did to enter dolphin pose. And you could be right here. You could walk the feet closer to the elbows if that's available. You can lift one leg straight up, flexing the foot, squaring the hips, and then switching legs. 5 to 7 breaths. And then when you're ready to rest, we'll meet in child's pose. Now make sure if your head is on the floor that you're pushing the floor away with your forearms, outer wrists and elbows. And even with the top of the head, it's like you're pressing the ground to lift energy up. You don't ever want to feel like you're compressing your neck in headstand. You want to create a lot of room and natural curvature in your neck. Then when you're ready, down to child's pose, rest for a few breaths. So definitely one of the effects, more literal effects of going upside down is to view life in a different perspective, right? To see things from another angle. And that's helpful as we're awakening the crown chakra, our ability to remember our unity, our inherent cohesiveness of all life, of nature. So one more time, choose to either practice dolphin pose, head nod on the floor, preparatory to headstand dolphin pose with head on the floor, or maybe you take it a step further and begin to lift your feet into headstand. So take your choice for 5 to 10 breaths. Remember to support your neck. If you're lifting your legs, you can start with one leg at a time. Make sure you're not swinging the leg and kicking into headstand. Right? You want to do it in a controlled fashion where you're activating the abdominal muscles and slowly tilting the pelvis upside down. Feet come together at the top, flexing the feet, pressing the inner heels towards the sky, and reaching the tailbone straight up towards the inner heels. 5 to 10 breaths. Salamba Shirshasana, also called the king of asanas. A very energizing posture. Take your time lowering to child's pose when you're ready, placing your arms wherever offers you ease. Settling into a few breaths to rest. Once you've rested for a few breaths, then slowly roll your spine upright to sit, and we'll prepare for counter pose, opening the fronts of the shoulders in back bend. Starting with camel pose, we'll take it 2 rounds. Grab a block, hug the skinniest width between your knees and thighs. Come to stand on your knees and tuck your toes behind you. Place your hands on your lower back with your fingertips face down. Draw your tailbone towards the ground right between your knees and lift your back ribs to help lengthen the lower spine. Hug your elbows close together to broaden your chest. Then inhale, lift your chest and roll the front of your shoulders back. As you exhale, continue to slide the shoulder blades down, coil the chest up, and give yourself another 5 or more breaths. If available, you could backstroke one arm and catch hold of the heel right behind you. Then switch hands or take both heels. Make sure that your pelvis stays forward, stacked above your knees, not behind the knees. When you're ready to come out of camel, place your hands on your lower back and slowly roll your spine upright. Then have a seat. You might use the block as a stool to sit on right between your ankles. Ustrasana, camel pose. Once you're sitting to rest, you might rest your hands at your heart center and allow about 3 breaths to just tune into how you're feeling, what's coming up for you. Then as you're ready, one more camel pose, with or without the block, with toes tucked or not, tops of the feet flat in the ground. Start with a hand in the lower back and give yourself 5 to 10 breaths of Ustrasana. And let's make our way to the floor, preparing for bridge pose. Set your feet apart, hips distance parallel. You might use a block again between your knees and thighs. Ground your feet and the backs of your shoulders. Then inhale to lift your pelvis. Walk the upper arms under your back ribs, maybe clasp the hands. Count 5 to 10 breaths in Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. Tilting your chin back, lengthening the front of your thighs forward, and activating your hamstrings as if you're dragging the heels back towards your glutes. When you're ready, slowly lower your spine to the earth. Don't hug your knees into your chest. Just keep your feet on the ground. Rest a hand to your heart center. Rest a hand to your lower belly. Maybe drop the knees open, soles of the feet together, and rest for a few breaths. Observe what's here, inside of you, in your body, in your mind, in your heart. All right, if you got it in you, one more back bend of your choice. You could take supported bridge, regular bridge, or upward facing bow. 5 to 10 breaths on your own, and we'll meet lying down again. And then when you're done resting for a few breaths, please make your way up to sit. We'll take our twist sitting up, extending left leg forward, stepping right foot in front of the right hip or outside the left knee. You may also bend the left knee as you place the right hand on the floor behind your pelvis. Ground your 2 sitting bones, ground your right foot, and inhale, lift your spine, raise your left arm. Exhale, twist to your right and lower your left arm, holding your right shin or hooking your left elbow outside of the right thigh. A few breaths here. Exhaling, unwind your spine, slide the right leg straight, and let's move on to the second side in the same way as if possible. Left foot in front of left hip or crossed outside the right knee, maybe bending the right knee too. Place your left hand behind your pelvis, raising your right arm. Inhale, sit tall. Exhale, twist to your left and lower your right arm. Maybe hook the elbow outside of your thigh. Exhaling, unwind your spine. And let's extend both legs straight ahead. Sitting tall, breathe in. Exhale, forward fold, Paschimottanasana. You might like to use a strap around the balls of your feet or clasp your big toes. Inhale, slowly rise up. So we've got one last inversion, and that's what's called the queen of asanas, which is the opposite of energizing, deeply relaxing, and that is shoulder stand. If you've got any issues in your neck, maybe also your shoulders, one variation is to place a block under your sacrum like this as you lie on your back and lift your legs straight up. Otherwise, grab your folded blanket, make sure it's smoothly folded, about 1.5 to 2 inches thick, like this. Place the smooth edge of the fold to face the rear edge of your mat and place it about a foot inward from the rear edge. Lie in the blanket so that the tops of your shoulder heads are about 1/2 inch inward from the folded edge of the blanket. Back of the head is on the floor, and the purpose of this is to have support to maintain the natural space and curve of your neck. Then step your feet on the ground, place your elbows really close to your side ribs on the blanket, on the floor. Plug them down, and then place your hands on your lower back, lifting your pelvis up. Try not to swing the legs up. You want to keep your neck safe and not let it absorb the shock of the swing. Legs straight up, ankles above hips, hips above shoulders. This is called Salamba Sarvangasana, shoulder stand. You might also bring the legs overhead into Halasana, plow pose, with the option of clasping the hands with the arms straight forward. Give yourself a total of about 10 breaths in whatever cooling inversion you've chosen. If you're coming out of shoulder stand, bring the legs overhead, slide your hands down your back, slowly lower your back to the ground. Remove any prop that's under your body so that you can lie flat on the floor. And let's prepare for a final pose before Shavasana, which is an excellent counterbalance to traditional shoulder stand, and that's fish pose, Mayurasana. To enter fish, straighten your legs forward and bring your feet together, relaxing your feet and legs. Place your palms face down underneath your glutes so that your thumbs touch each other. Press your elbows and palms into the floor and tilt your head back as far as you're able. You might bring the top of your head to the floor. Opening your throat, take about 5 lion's breaths. Deep inhale through the nose. Wide open mouth, stick out the tongue. Exhale any sound that's releasing. Keep going. And when you're finished, gently lower your back to the floor, hug your knees into your chest. Take a deep breath through the nose, hold it in, then open the lips and place your body into a comfortable resting position for the next 5 minutes of Shavasana, corpse pose. Close your eyes, release control of your breathing, and soften into stillness, being fully aware. Allowing yourself to dissolve into that feeling of oneness. With all of life around you. Now remaining still for another few moments with eyes still closed. Observe how your body feels here right now. Sense the quality of the breath just as it is. Feeling your mind, notice your emotional state. And as you keep listening inward, keep tuning in, notice as well what you sense in the environment around you, with eyes still closed. Begin to turn over gently to your right side, resting your head on your arm. Pause here, allow a few breaths. And press your hands into the earth. And take your time lifting your body upright into a comfortable, alert seat. Sitting for meditation, I invite you to practice mindful awareness. Sitting tall, eyes closed, or a soft gaze on something at eye level. Resting your hands in a mudra like stacking the palms face up on your lap. Just allowing the breath to move on its own. Allowing the body to be still. To help ground you if your attention starts to move far away from the present moment, return your awareness to the breath, the sensations of the breath. But as you're practicing mindful awareness here in meditation, notice what comes up, whether it's stimuli externally in your environment, like sounds. Notice without getting caught up in the content of it. Notice without following a storyline about it. Simply notice it as a neutral event, and then bring your awareness back to the sensations of the breath. Bring the same practice of noticing and coming back to what arises internally, like in the sensations that come up in the body, or in the thoughts that arise in the mind, or in any emotions that might appear. Bring your awareness to it without becoming absorbed in the content of it, and then return your awareness to the sensations of the breath. Sense how you're feeling now, nearing the end of your practice. Sense how you're feeling from your meditation. Then remember the intention that you set for yourself at the start of this practice. Say it once again mentally and allow yourself to feel it in existence. Then visualize to whom or what you chose to dedicate this practice to. See them enjoying benefits. And in the practice of unity, can you expand that circle of dedication to a greater community, like the whole of the city that you're living in or the planet itself? Sending the benefits of your practice to a larger span of people, creatures, life, nature. How might you continue to practice union as you step off your mat? To remember that you are connected to all of life around you. Let's close this practice, joining in one Om. Inhale deeply. Bow in towards your heart center, acknowledging the light within. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.